Okay, let's be honest. When you hear the word economics, what comes to mind? Probably a bunch of complicated charts, right? Dry, technical stuff. Well, I want you to just put that idea aside for a minute. Because economics isn't just about money or markets. It's actually a mind-blowing way of looking at the world that explains, well, almost everything. From your biggest career choices to why you can never ever decide what to wear.
I mean, come on, does this sound familiar? We've all been there. Or maybe you've stood in front of a jam-packed refrigerator and declared, there's nothing to eat. You've got tons of options, but it feels like you have none. This feeling, it turns out, isn't some weird personal flaw. It's actually the starting point for all of economics. It all really boils down to this one simple but huge question. No matter how much we have, why are we always kind of looking at the next thing? Why does the idea of enough always seem to be just a little bit out of reach? Well, as you might have guessed, economists have a name for this whole situation.
That feeling is called scarcity. But here's the thing. When economists talk about scarcity, they don't just mean a shortage, like not enough toilet paper in 2020. No, it's a much bigger, much more universal idea that affects every single one of us, every single day. So here's the key idea. Scarcity is basically the gap between two things. On one hand, you have our limited resources, time, money, physical stuff. And on the other hand, you have our unlimited wants. We've only got 24 hours in a day and a finite amount of money in the bank. But man, we have an infinite list of things we love to do and have. And this is a really important distinction. Scarcity is not the same thing as poverty. For sure, scarcity in a wealthy country looks totally different from scarcity in a developing nation, where basic resources like food and clean water are the primary concern. But that underlying condition, that fundamental gap between what we have and what we want, that is universal. We all face it. And because of this whole scarcity thing, we are forced to do something constantly, whether we realize it or not. We have to choose. You can't be in two places at once, right? You can't spend the same dollar twice. So every single time you choose one thing, you are, by definition, not choosing something else. And that something else, well, it has a value. And this right here is one of the most powerful, most important ideas in all of economics. It's called opportunity cost. See, the true cost of something isn't just the money you spend. It's the value of the road not taken. It's the opportunity you gave up. Let me show you with a really clear example. All right, let's say you decide to just ditch work and fly to Cozumel for the day. The explicit costs, the ones you see on your credit card statement, are easy. The plane ticket, maybe a hotel, a taxi. But what's the hidden cost, the implicit cost? It's the money you would have earned if you'd gone to work instead. That lost income, that's the opportunity cost of your day at the beach. And believe me, every single decision has one. Okay, so if every choice has a cost, how in the world do we get more of what we want? I mean, should we all just try to be completely self-sufficient? Grow our own food, build our own house, fix our own car? Well, economics has a very clear answer, and it's that there's a much, much better way. And the answer is specialization and trade. It turns out by focusing on what we're good at, or more specifically, what we do at the lowest opportunity cost, and then trading with others, everyone can actually end up with more stuff. It's a ridiculously simple idea that literally became the engine of global prosperity. Let's break this down with a classic example. We've got two people, Art and Paul. In 1 hour, Art can write one hit song or perform 2 brain surgeries. Paul, on the other hand, can write 2 hit songs or perform 2 brain surgeries. So pretty clearly, Paul is a faster songwriter. This is what we call an absolute advantage. So case closed, right? Paul should write the songs. Well, not so fast. This is where it gets really interesting. This is the aha moment. You have to look at the real cost, the opportunity cost. So to write one song, Art gives up doing 2 surgeries. Paul, though, only gives up 1 surgery. So Paul has the lower cost for songwriting. But now let's flip it around. To perform 1 surgery, Paul gives up writing an entire song, but Art only gives up half a song. And that is the core of what's called comparative advantage. You specialize in whatever you can produce at the lowest opportunity cost. So Paul should write the songs, and Art, even though he's just as fast as surgeon, should stick to brain surgery. When they do this and then trade with each other, society ends up with more hit songs and more successful surgeries. Everybody wins. It's an incredible idea. But all this specialization and trade, it creates a new problem, right? How do you actually manage all these exchanges? I mean, how does the brain surgeon pay the songwriter for his new hit single? That's where one of humanity's greatest inventions comes into play. So before we had money, people had to barter, direct trade. But the problem with barter is you need what's called a double coincidence of wants. The baker has to want the farmer's eggs at the exact same time the farmer wants the baker's bread. As you can imagine, it's super inefficient. So, money evolved. We started out with commodity money, stuff that had value on its own, like salt or gold. Then we moved to representative money, basically paper bills that were just a receipt for gold you had stashed in a vault. And this evolution eventually led us to the final and, let's be honest, the strangest step of all. And that brings us to today. Most of the world now uses what's called fiat money. The US dollar, the euro, the yen, they aren't backed by gold or silver or anything tangible at all. Their value comes from a government decree, sure, but way more importantly, it comes from our collective faith that they are valuable. It's a shared story we all agree to believe in, and it's what makes our complex global economy even possible. It's kind of wild when you think about it. So, let's bring this all home. We've talked about these huge abstract ideas: scarcity, specialization, money. But you know where they all start? They all start from a very simple, very personal place: you making a choice. You see the chain reaction here? It's like a line of dominoes. The universal condition of scarcity forces us all to make choices. Every single one of those choices has an opportunity cost. So to get the most out of our choices, we specialize based on our comparative advantage. And that whole beautiful, complicated system is connected and made efficient by money. Your individual decisions, scaled up by billions of people, literally create the entire global economy. You know, the father of modern economics, Adam Smith, he captured this idea perfectly. He said that the incredibly complex system that gets food to your dinner table doesn't work because everyone is trying to be nice and do you a favor. No, it works because the farmer, the truck driver, and the grocer are all just looking out for themselves. And in a market system, that self-interest gets harnessed to serve everyone. So, at the end of the day, here's the ultimate takeaway. The economy isn't some distant, complicated machine that's happening to you. It's the sum total of human choices, and that includes yours. Every time you buy a coffee, or take a job, or learn a new skill, you are casting a vote for the kind of world you want to live in. The economy is a story we are all writing together, one choice at a time. The only question is, what will you choose to build?